Okay, hopefully the audio is better now.
Yeah, loud and clear.
Making progress. All right, perfect. Perfect. Well, guys, it's been an interesting week, 2 weeks or so. I think I told you guys a while ago I bought property. Camera turn on here. I'll show you what I've been doing. Yeah. All right. GM, everybody. I'm at the tiny house property this morning, and there's a guy actually coming to pick up this right now, so I need to meet him. And I don't know if you ever rented some equipment before, but the timing and everything, not really up to you. So, he said Monday morning. I said, "Can you do it later?" He said no. All right. Here he is. Anyway, we are turning an idle asset into an actual asset. So we just cleared. Oh man, we had so much fun last week. We just cleared 1.5 acres, and never done this before. But you know what? I'm coachable. I'm a quick learner. I'm a doer. So it started happening. And anyway, all the way back through here, we cleared it out. Saved as many trees as possible. This is not a clear cut by any means. This is trying to be aware of the ecology around us. And anyway, we're going to turn this into a 20-unit RV park for long-term RVers. As I was doing more of my research, I found the health department gets all up in your stuff if you do daily RV campgrounds. So I'm like, all right, I'll just do the monthly then. Not just the health department, but every code, everything. So anyway, there's plenty of people that want long-term RV stuff, and we have our homestead right up the way where we'll be able to combine amenities and just different things that we're offering. So we've been talking about this for years, and for it to finally be happening. I got the power company coming in next week, septic after that, and I'll have myself a little mobile home park. Then I still need to run some numbers though, because there's two different proposals. One is 55 plus community, and just rock it with that. Their insurance will pay for it. There'll be a different vibe, a lot quieter. Originally, the idea was have traveling families with kids that want to have a long-term place to stay, but not a permanent place to stay, and have lots of activities, gardening. We're going to put chickens and goats on here. We're going to have a walking trail in the back and a pond. So, yeah, we're turning, like, if you were to just run the comps and say, hey, here's a piece of property, you go and look it up, you'd say between 25 and 50 grand in value. But after we install everything and it's up and running, it'll be worth between 600 and 800,000. And I'm an optimist. Seems like we could get away with about $70,000 invested in the infrastructure, maybe less. I'll be doing a lot of work myself. Yeah. Anyway, this is a 10x multiplier of income. So super grateful. And anyway, remember we were talking about the other day about 4 steps of money-making activities. Find the people, tell the story, build for events, follow up. Find the people, tell the story, build for events, follow up. So when we need to tell the story, which I'm actually going to have a few of you come out and tell your story so I can go pay this man and send him on his way. But I want you to be collecting stories. So this week you could be sharing them. You could share your 30-second version of my story. Hey, I was talking to one of my colleagues in my investor community, and he told me he just turned a $50,000 raw land into a potential $600,000 camping business. Okay, well, it's still potential, so you have to use that word. But then you say, and he was just working at Jiffy Lube for $9 an hour, but he started to come into these workshops and join this community. Would you like to see what that's like and what's possible for you? Right? So find the people, tell the story, build for events, and follow up. So when you tell that story, then you build for the event. That's the key, folks. A story, chances are people are not going to come to the event. Obviously, don't exaggerate the story. Be serious about it. Because what we're doing right now is already so freaking awesome. So anyway, yeah, let me know who can come share their story real quick. It doesn't have to be impressive. It's not a competition. It's just, where were you before Renatus? Why did you join? And what's happened since? Where were you before? Why did you join? What has happened since? And the happening could be money. It could be time. It could be awareness. It could be perspective. It could be relationships. What's happened since? So where were you before? Why did you join? And what's happened since? Who would like to come out and share? I want to hear Steve. I want to hear Anthony, and I want to hear
Happy dad. Yeah. Miley said she can.
and Maylee. Okay, perfect. Yeah, go ahead.
So I guess my quick story is I was born in South Africa, did real estate in South Africa, and I had the opportunity to move to the US and realized I had to unlearn everything that I learned because thanks to Renatus, they taught me how to do real estate in the US. And prior to that, I would not have known where to start. It is just so different. And through that, the first deal that we did, we were able to get a house under contract with only $10,000 down on my money, and we purchased it for $850,000. I had a partner come in with a 401k, self-directed, which we learned about through Renatus, and he put down 197,000. We then got it under contract, listed it, and got offered 1.1 million for it without doing anything to it. But felt it was a real gem and wanted to take the knowledge that we'd learned from Renatus. And so we brought in another partner, and they found the balance of the money to do the reconstruction or the remodeling, and also did the project management for that. So we gave the funding 25%, the remodel 25%, my original partner 25%, and me 25%. We spent $150,000 on the property, and we sold it for $1.5 million. So that was a real solid win. And where am I now? Well, I'm now the VP of partnerships for pre-iShare. And so now we've just moved it up a lot more. So we're now doing GP, LP models where we're doing syndications and rather large deals. And very exciting. Keep on learning, keep on sharing, and keep on being here for you, my people at Renatus. Thank you. Next person want to go?
I guess I'll just go. Hey guys, what's going on? So Steve, I'm here in the background usually. So you may not hear me. So where was I? So when I saw Renatus, I was actually working a sales job, and I had terrible credit. I just had my real estate license, trying to figure out how to get into investing. I was in South Florida reaching out to other investors. Nobody wanted to take a chance on me, helping me. I offered to work for free, but nobody willing to do that. So it was always a Doug eat Doug out there. But through focusing on what I wanted to do, once discovered Renatus through a meetup. So one of those Eventbrites on a Tuesday, and I went to the community. And ever since I walked in, I'm like, I just found my people. These are the people I want to surround myself with. Um, since I joined Renatus, I took a slight different path than most of you probably have. Instead of just going into real estate, actually, I've always loved owning a business. And once I learned tax and legal strategies and what I could do with those, I was already doing taxes. I was able to implement some of these strategies and build a profitable business where, I started out with nothing, and not to brag, but revenue this year is about $2.5 million. Just in using some of the strategies that I learned. And now I'm doing 5 units at the same time for arbitrage short-term rentals. And once I've got those up and running, the goal is to go into some creative strategies, creative acquisitions, hopefully do some wraparound mortgages and things like that. So I'm super excited to where this is going. So let's see.
Nicely done. Well done.
I guess it's my turn. Unfortunately, I'm not in a spot where I can show my camera, but I will tell you my story. Short, quick, right? 1 minute elevator pitch. When I found Renatus, I had just had back surgery, and I was in a wheelchair before that for 9 months, and devastated my whole family. We lost everything, tore apart our family. I had to have a divorce because of it. It was wild. We lost everything. Foreclosed on our house, moved from California to Utah. And before that, I was selling solar. And I honestly didn't know what direction I was going to go. Like, I just thought I was completely defeated. Honestly, I was in pretty dire straits. And no kidding, I actually saw a sign on the side of the road that said "Real estate investor seeks training," and I thought, back then it did say $10,000 a month. Now, I know that's not compliant today, but it did say that back then. uh, and I was like, oh, well, I do need to make money. I need to make money fast. I'm really good at sales. And it sounds like that's something I could do from a wheelchair. That sounds like something I could do from, me recovering, sitting a lot, still having to. And so I was like, oh, well, let's see what that is. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I had no idea. I went down to that meeting, similar to what you just said, and I immediately felt like these were my people. I felt like these are wealthy mindset people that are high vibe, high energy. It felt just different, right? Like, normally when you walk in a room, people are, I don't know, naysayers and talking about all sorts of the weirdest stuff, right? Not actually solving big problems in the world. And I had to learn more. I had to figure out how to become a part of it. Still had no money to my name. But luckily, my sponsor, he actually borrowed me the money. I paid him back infinitely, but he did. He actually sponsored my, because he just believed in me and he knew that I could bring some people. And within 3 days, I paid him back. So it all worked out pretty great. Um, but yeah, I've been part of Renatus ever since. Now I've fixed and flipped over 250 homes. And Mitch and I obviously run a pretty big market here in Utah, but it's all because of that one sign that was on the side of the road. Somebody took the time to realize that Renatus was worth sharing, and I'm very grateful. So thank you, everyone.
That was awesome. So I'm Laura Cook. My husband and I, we met in New York. He was in the solar industry for about 5 years before I met him. I was in the insurance industry, working 9 to 5. I was a single mom at the time, wishing that I was home with my son. And the days would just seem to be the same every single day, the same thing. It was boring, not super stimulating for my brain. Anyway, my husband's job company, they closed down. Someone fell off a roof installing solar panels, and they didn't realize that their workers' comp insurance had canceled. And they didn't have insurance. So when the claim went through, they got shut down. They couldn't have any employees anymore. And they fired everyone, over 250 employees. It was devastating to him. He was hoping to have shares, come through. They were going to sell the company. None of that ever happened. He was unemployed, depressed. He tried going into the solar industry several times, and he got burned so much. He would be told, "Oh, yeah, we're gonna hire you. We're gonna pay you all this money," and he would sell and do all this work, and they would either not pay him what they promised or not pay him at all. So we had to start using our credit cards, sell a couple of cars, live off our savings until there was no more. And it was pretty rough. We had to move to Utah because that's where he had family and connections and stuff. But those connections, because he was gone for the last 5 years, I guess it wasn't what he thought. Oh, I thought that all these people were going to help me, or I was going to be able to land something faster, blah, blah, blah. It was pretty rough. I was home with the kids. At the time, we already had, I was pregnant, and it seemed to be more expensive to hire daycare or a nanny than to go find a job here and get paid like $15 an hour. So it made more sense to stay home. But we knew that we needed connections, that we needed mentorship, and that we needed um, education. So we found Renatus, and our lives have changed completely. We have since then improved our mindset, because we were definitely in a rut. We were very, scarcity mindset. Also, like, negative, this is going to go wrong, nothing goes right, people take advantage of me, things like that. Also, we're paying our debt. So now my husband, ever since, like, he knows his drive. He has identified his skill set. Before, he's like thinking, I'm a loser. Nothing works out. I don't even know what my path is. What am I doing with my life? I can't be a provider. He was like absolutely devastated, and now he knows exactly what he wants. He knows what he's good at, and now he has a job with a company, a luxury landscape company. He's the COO, and he's making three figures. Is that the right way to say it? Like more than 100,000, right? And we're using Velocity Banking to pay off our debt. We joined the Fix and Flip Challenge, and we're so excited about that. Our mindset has changed. Sometimes you have to remind yourself constantly, consistently, and work on your mindset. I'm not saying we're perfect at it, but I can say that we are way, 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 way better than where we were before. And I started preschool, so that I don't get paid $15 an hour, but I get paid a lot more than that. For 5 kids, I can control how much I work, how long, what I do with it, um, everything, and it's amazing. We love it. And I'm really focused on the Fix and Flip Challenge and the education. And I'm really excited. Thanks.
All right, well said. Well said. App back up here. Cool. Okay. I never knew that about you, Laura. That's is great. Great little depiction of what happened, so I can share with other people. How many people know someone who got the rug pulled out from under them? Right? They were working hard, did everything right, but the company they worked for screwed it all up, yanked it out from under them. And yeah, I mean, what do you do there? Start back over. And that's something too that's like more important than the money is how you feel about what you're working on, right? And you can hear in Laura's voice and Maylee's voice and Steve's voice what their life is about now. You know, money's nice, but the perspective, the security, the safety, the better use of time, the experience you make with your family, your kids, I can hear a major difference. So one way I use this when I'm making my follow-up calls, my sales calls, is when that resistance comes, okay? Call it LMR, last minute resistance. When the resistance comes, this is when stories need to happen the most. Okay, so you'll be sitting there with them, or maybe it's a Zoom, and you've answered all their questions. This is the price. This is the expectation. This is the package. This is the schedule. Everything they need. And you've answered all their questions. You established a need. You verified the capacity for them to afford it. All that. But then they don't buy. Gosh, isn't that frustrating? They're sitting there going, well, let me think about it some more, or we'll look into it a bit, and, thank you for your time. And it's like, wait, no, this is not how this conversation is going to end. You are going to buy this thing, just like Laura did. Her and her husband needed a major change in their life. They've turned everything around. Yeah, they had to live on credit cards. Yeah, they had to sell some cars. Gosh, how uncomfortable was that? And, luckily you're not in that position. You could just put on a credit card. It's $400 a month, and it's yours, baby. Let's go. When you use these stories to overcome resistance, people are wanting to know, will it work? Will it work for me? And will I do it? And the more stories they can hear, people from around the country, different backgrounds. How many people saying, well, I wish I could do Renatus, but I can't walk. I'm in a wheelchair. Well, let me tell you. Share Maylee's story. So what I'm trying to emphasize here is that as you're walking that prospect down the buying path, and they're getting closer and closer, if you're getting off the path, the thing to get you back on is stories. Sometimes it's a person's story. It's also important, in my opinion, that you get Bob Snyder's story down pretty good, so that when you meet those 8, 9s, and 10s type people, the high quality folks that you want in your business as well, tell them Bob's beginnings and why the company exists. And then one thing about stories is the company's story. How it got started, why it got started, where it came from. The BBB awards, the Inc. 5000, the Best of State, all those things add up to the company's story as well. So this commitment to excellence, affordability, applicability, making sure plenty of people can enjoy the benefits of this, regardless of their background. This is why Bob started it. So, reminder, moving down that conversation path. You ask them to buy, they say no, story time. Ask them to buy again. They might say no again, story time. You're just going to keep sharing stories and asking to buy. It's going to take 6 to 8 asks before somebody buys when they're qualified. You know, people just aren't qualified. Wrong mindset, lack of ambition, different things like that, wrong expectations, get rich quick kind of stuff, not willing to put in the work. Obviously, those people are not right for our group. But you've identified they're right for our group, and they're just afraid. What's the cost? What's the risk? Just afraid? Stories will overcome that. You know, this isn't my idea. I just was taught it and implemented it and used it to make millions of dollars in Renatus sales. So, questions? Questions, clarifications? No questions? Things going good? Okay. Yep. We have such an advantage. You're right, Anthony. Gotta be grateful and use what's given to us or what we find around us. Okay. So, you've done your checklist, you got your vision board. That was the other thing I liked about listening to Laura's stories. Like, she's like, my husband knows where he's going now. Know what we're doing. We know what we're working on. And if you don't have that sense yet, right? Maybe you've been in Renatus for a month or a week or 2 years, and you don't have that sense of, I know where I'm going. I am going to venture to say you don't have a vision board. And vision is what pulls us forward. So make sure, though, when you're making this vision, that you're not psyching yourself out to a point where your subconscious mind is going to say, oh, yeah, right. You've never made more than, 25 grand in a year, and then you say, my goal is to make $1 million next year. It's possible. For sure. You're in America. Hallelujah. It's possible. I don't want to discourage anybody from doing that. And at the same time, set yourself up for failure. You're going to psych yourself out. It's like, yeah, your subconscious mind is operating, 10,000 times faster than your conscious mind. So consciously you go, I want to do this, but then subconsciously you go, ain't gonna happen. You have to work on that subconscious mind. That's where the vision board, the affirmations, the stories, the community, the connections, all of that starts to feed in and redesign that subconscious mind that has such a big influence on your life. Vision boards, associations, and affirmations will change everything. I think 2 weeks ago I held up got some big posters in my office. I'm gonna go get a few more because that's the input. And the input determines the output. You want to have some good ingredients. The ingredients for our life are what we listen to, what we read, and then what we do about it. So this Saturday is summer solstice, longest day of the year, International Yoga Day, and midpoint of the year. So it's a good time to ask, how's it going? Am I on track? Will this work? And if you're off track, then we got to fix it. You got 6 more months to hit your yearly goals. So yeah, if you're not doing type of yoga or exercise, that will also affect your performance. It's something about entrepreneurship is we are 90%, maybe even 95% mental as entrepreneurs. Right? Executing physically is such a small part compared to mental. And it's important to build that resilience, to be clear on where you're at, because, dude, every corporation and bank and entertainment and this and that is trying to take your attention, your time, your money, and you have to stand guard. What Jim Rohn says, stand guard at the door of your mind. Stand guard at the door of your mind. So, affirmations, associations, community, and then using those stories. Going back to that conversation where we're sitting down with the prospect, we've gone over the who, what, where, when, why, how, and they're still hesitant. Pull the trigger. Then you have to use this. One way to set up stories is called feel, felt, found. I know how you feel. Anthony felt the same way. Here's what he found. Feel, felt, found. I know how you feel. Steve felt the same way. Here's what Steve found. So you'd use the other stories, or you would use yours. This feel, felt, found. The good presenters already do that on the initial meeting for your customers. Already do plenty of feel, felt, found. But you still got to do it too. And the moment you decide you are going to do your own follow-ups and be the closer, you're going to make way more money. Now, of course, if you're working with Mitch or Maylee or Anthony or Bruce or Gilda, you're working with these people, Tamara, let them do your follow-ups for sure. Lean on it. But don't have like a 2-5 year game plan where leaning on others is the method. So that level of responsibility is what's very attractive. Being responsible is so rare that when you show up as a responsible person, you stand out. You're like a unicorn. So be responsible, be a unicorn. All right, so this is not something we do very often on this call, because this don't happen very often. But damn shame what happened. I have to tell you guys. Over the weekend, there was an accident with one of our team members, and he didn't make it. He fortunately died. Left right here. Carlos. little moment of silence. Ay, ay, ay. Guys, you never know. Never know what can happen. So, well, one thing Carlos did is he played it big. He used the system that Renatus taught him. Did a boatload of deals, set up his long-term rentals, set up his family for success. So, you know, luckily he put those pieces in place before his time ran out. And it's a reminder of two things. That never know when it's your time. So make the best of it. Right here today, gone tomorrow kind of thing. But also, what he was able to do and you know, deposit into his family and into his community was worth way more than the money that he earned. He was very, very productive, high income earner. Yeah, amazing to see the turnaround that he did. You know, getting his start at Renatus. But here's the thing: is he didn't let fear hold him back. The only reason why you're not growing your business, whether it's the marketing or real estate or both the same way, I am going to venture to say it's the big capital F word, fear. You got all the right pieces and parts and elements, but fear will get you. Right? The shadows on the wall, they'll get you. Don't let fear control you. And Carlos is one of those guys that didn't let fear control him. So I'm an amateur on this part. I don't know. I don't know what to do from here. I guess if he knows his family at all, you know, reach out and see what you can do to help. Otherwise, just use it as a reminder. We're all gonna die. Fear, part of your brain that says, "Oh, don't make that call. Don't ask for that sale. Don't go try. Don't stay up late. Don't get up early." That little thing, that little fear doesn't understand the difference between social dangers and physical dangers, right? And it's trying to tell you get the same reaction. Oh, you're going to die if you do that. And don't misinterpret the fear signal, I guess is my point. Sure. If there's fear, feel it, but don't let it stop you from building your dream. And I'm so grateful. When I went to Utah, I hadn't seen him in 5 years. I went to Utah to go do the door knocking thing back in February and March. He showed up. Spent the afternoon with him, saw him at a couple property tours. It was great to see the transformation taking place in his life. So with that being said, I'm going to wrap up this call. Attitude of gratitude. And face your fears and chase your dreams. For attending our Money Monday. I'm going to hop on the Pat call now. Be sure to join us on the Invest Edge today at 4 p.m. Mountain. And do your best to get it all. Thanks, everybody. See you soon.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.